Yeah, I'm gonna
Fire the music back up.
I'm gonna do this.
Oh, that's right.
2. All right, here you go. There you go.
As we continue, Mackey and Judd Phil off today. He will be back tomorrow. All right. Next statement. Cat can do. Cat can do. In Cleveland on Saturday. And I am anti-skills.
Yeah, you are.
Skills competitions I hate. All-star
and
games.
anti-skills in general. Judge
All-star games I
Unless
hate.
it's Surly. He doesn't have much skills.
Exactly right. Well, I don't have skills, and I don't like skills competitions. But that being said, Karl-Anthony Towns, who, you know what? We both, I think equally on Mackey and Judd, we praise and criticize, right? Because there's some things about Cat, the constant complaining, it seems like, at the officials. There are some things that he does that annoy, and there are some things that he does, especially with his God-given basketball talent, that we praise, and this goes to the latter. Cat had a record-setting 29 points in the final round to win on Saturday the NBA's three-point contest. He beat out Luke Kennard and Trae Young. He was 13-1 at Caesar Sportsbook, the longest odds in the field, and he is the first big man to win the contest since Kevin Love did it as a power forward for the Wolves in 2012. This might be the most remarkable accomplishment at the entire All-Star weekend. Think about this. This guy is mammoth. This guy wins the three-point contest. This guy's skill set is off the charts, and I hope at some point in time soon, I hope the theatrics and the antics stop. I hope that he just puts his head down and starts to play. Because I think that he unfairly draws attention to himself with I got fouled. That's not a call. That stuff annoys me. And look, if you get screwed every once in a while, Dex, I'm all for it. Bring it up. That's great. Argue. Yeah. Defend yourself. But we all know with Cat, it's far too constant, right? And I think that it's causing us to, unfortunately, not pay attention to what this guy does talent-wise. Like his talent, if he takes that next step and quits the consistently the moaning and complaining, and more importantly, just puts his head down and plays basketball, we are talking about a big man who is probably ultimately, as far as just talent goes, Dex, just pure talent, one of the most talented big men in the history of this league.
Yeah.
Like his skill set's off the charts. So Cat can do. And what I would like to see Cat do less of is stop doing the stuff that is causing us to pay attention to the negative, because I think it will cause us to pay more attention to the positive here. And if this guy just toughens up, like, I think that if the Wolves do make the playoffs, and if Cat really applies himself, which means no flopping, no complaining, just plays basketball. And you know what? If you want to shove dudes, that's fine. But just plays basketball. I think nationally, he's going to take a huge step. Because if he could turn the Barkleys and Shaqs, and I know that those guys are entertainers, and I know that they're silly and goofy. I love them personally. But if he can get those guys on his side a bit more to say, hey, you know what? Cat's changed. Like, look at this version of Cat. I think the national perception of Cat is going to change drastically. And when you see him have the talent and skill that he occasionally shows, if he can put that on display in the playoffs, man, that would be fantastic. And I really think he needs to put the garbage and BS stuff aside and allow himself to showcase Karl-Anthony Towns as a player.
Right, and I'm with you there. I think Cat is one hell of a talent, and I do think he's starting to have a little bit of more awareness. That's something that I like to talk about on the show, on and off the mic, is having awareness, and I think he's starting to grow and realize that. And he's been through hell. He's been through a lot of things in his life, and this isn't me putting him down, but unfortunately, those cards are going to be dealt to you in life.
Yeah.
And he, unfortunately, and I'm in a similar boat as him, he's had a lot of those cards been dealt to him early in his life. How do you handle that and move on with it and be better for it, and not have... And this is where the perception of him, I think, is a problem, where it's a pouty attitude and a woe is me attitude. And people will always support you and have your back, and you can look on people when you need to be picked up. But you also, as a human being, need to rise up into those own situations by yourself. And it's okay to ask for help. I'm sure he has found that help, but you also need to still, at the end of the day, take all that information and be better for it.
Yeah.
And I think Cat is doing that, by the way. That's who he is. I think he's striving up. And for the Wolves side, now that the All-Star game is over, they return back to play on Thursday against Memphis. There's some fun games out the gate here. They got Philly, they have Cleveland, they have Golden State. Three of some of the best teams in the NBA right here. They're 3 games over 500. I know they lost to Toronto right before the break with that All-Star fatigue. Anthony Edwards is battling an ankle injury. But, I mean...
We were too tired. We
Way
were too tired to win that game.
But between Judley, the Wild, and the Wolves here over the next 2 to 3 months, and obviously our reckless Vikings offseason speculation,
Yep.
I mean, buckle in, man. It's going to be a fun next few months here.
Well, and Wild and Wolves, you have a springtime slate that is blank because we ain't playing baseball.
No.
So,
no.
A playoff run will get you, it would ordinarily garner you a ton of attention. Now, imagine if the Wild can win a round and then 2. Imagine the attention with almost certainly, in my opinion, no baseball being played. Imagine the attention there. The ratings will be huge. You will draw everybody. So, you have opportunity. Wait for it.
Knocks.
It's knocking. Wild especially. But Wolves, you know what? Be pesky. Make the playoffs. This is your chance. This is your chance to put yourselves back on a map that I don't think you've been on for a while.
Mm-hmm.
If you are, because this is a fun team, exciting team. I think that they're well coached. Chris Finch has done a good job. So there is a lot to like. They play in a crappy building, unfortunately, but that's that.
That's that.
So let's get people there. But how do you do that? You win a couple of playoff games. Cat comes out and is tough as nails. Tough as nails. No complaining. Drives to the basket. Drives into guys. Basically pushes back at times. People will say, wow, that's the new Cat. Ant in the playoffs could be great fun.
Oh, it could be a blast.
So opportunity, that's right. It's at the door. It's knocking. Okay. Next statement is this quickly. Be adults.
Okay.
This Juwan Howard, Greg Gard thing, and look, the soapbox thing, I've heard everyone's opinion from Juwan Howard should be fired to Greg Gard put his hands on Juwan first to the assistant coach that Juwan punched.
You're so right here.
He's a victim, and I saw him actually chirp. So no soapbox here other than this. Beef.
Ooh.
Freaking. I didn't. No,
you were close.
No.
You were so close.
No, I was close to saying freaking. I stopped myself, and then I'm like, I can say that. Be freaking adults. This is such a stupid thing. Juwan Howard, yes, he's wrong. He will be suspended. Greg Gard, he's wrong too. And I don't care about his timeouts. I'm saying he put his hand. He got mad back, okay? Instead of back off and be like, okay, dude, you're mad. That's cool.
Yeah.
He put his hand on Howard. He's wrong. The assistant coach who decided to chirp, he's wrong. Suspend them all. And here's the thing, too. Suspend the players. If players fought, suspend them, too. Mm-hmm. Suspend everybody. These are all adults. These aren't kids. College athletes, Division I are young men, but they ain't exactly grade school kids.
No.
Everybody, be adults. You look stupid. You're fighting about what? There was nothing about that. Just this whole thing of, well, here's the take. Juwan Howard today should be fired. He's going to get in trouble, okay? But everyone does. And I haven't heard one person on a soapbox mention the players yet.
Right.
If there were players that got in there and threw punches, suspend them.
Heed your sports dad advice.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
It's absurd. And just in general, I don't get really enthralled in college basketball till March Madness. I
agree with you
who
there.
does not enjoy March Madness?
I love it.
And this is we had our Sterling listeners with us on Saturday. They said, Dex, how do you not like college football? You don't like college football?
You're wrong there.
But no, I'm not.
I love college football.
I'm not.
You're out of line.
I don't care for it. I don't care for it. But college basketball is the best, and I love me some tourney time. The intensity's at a peak. I love that stuff. But for this kind of finger pointing, and it's this problem or it's this person's issue,
but
it's so
what are they doing?
Dude.
You're mad about timeout, but then Greg Gard, don't put your hands on. Yeah. It's Juwan Howard.
Yeah, man.
Don't put your hands on him.
I agree.
What are you doing?
It's embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
Suspend everybody too. That's my thing. Suspend everybody.
Yeah.
If Wisconsin does not end up being pissed off by the results here of the suspensions, something's wrong.
Correct.
Michigan and Wisconsin should both be pissed off. Bleep them. Bleep both of them. All right, we got Vikings news. We got Vikings news before we wrap up here. Mackey and Judd. Reportedly, I don't believe this has been announced yet. We're recording this at 11:51 on Monday morning. Wes Phillips, passing game coordinator with new Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell when they were with the Los Angeles Rams, will be named the Vikings OC. Mm-hmm. And the special teams coordinator will be a 32-year-old former National Football League defensive back, according to our friend Tom Pelissero. His name is Matt Daniels. He was the assistant special teams coordinator in Dallas. So Ed Donatel will be the DC. Wes Phillips will be the OC, and special teams coordinator will be Matt Daniels. Keep in mind, just like O'Connell had the OC title with the Rams but didn't call the plays because Sean McVay did, Kevin O'Connell will call the plays here. Wes Phillips will play an important role. And what's really intriguing now, Dex, is with the coaching staff. So O'Connell's a quarterback whisperer type, head coach. Wes Phillips is the OC. And then we're going to have a quarterback's coach as well, along with an assistant QB's coach. So there will literally be a coach for every quarterback on the roster. Like somebody can work personally with every guy. Kellen Mond, at this point in time, Kirk Cousins. I would think Sean Mannion's days as a Viking are numbered, but whoever the backup is at this point, if Cousins is here. So the Vikings have, I think for the most part now, because if I'm not mistaken, on Thursday, when they named O'Connell coach, they also put out a press release announcing, 10 assistant coaching hires, including Donatel and Mike Pettin, who's going to be assistant head coach. So I think we're now up to something like 12. So aside from a few roles here and there, I guess the next big announcements from the Vikings potentially as far as coaching staff or executive staff goes would be post-draft, when I'm guessing that some of the current scouts under Spielman might move on and that Kwesi will bring in his own people. So That is that. The coaching staff basically in place now, but O'Connell is going to be, make no mistake, the guy who drives the offensive makeup and strategies of the Vikings.
What's interesting here is it seems like Wes Phillips is in the O'Connell role that he was with the Rams.
Yes,
and he's basically not a sounding board and person to be there to help orchestrate offensive structure, game planning, etc. But he will not be calling the plays. And it seems like Wes Phillips in general, it seems like the future's very bright for him here. I mean, he's now been at the Rams for a long time. His dad obviously was a very well-respected defensive guy, and his son's now kind of on the offensive side. This is good. I think this is a good stuff. And kudos to KOC, as I like to call him. We're tight. For him to go to the defensive side of the ball and just give it to veteran guys. Like I don't think he's, by the way, I don't think he's going to be completely removing himself from defensive decisions and game planning and structure. I think he has done, at least on paper here, and this could absolutely blow up, because Ed Donatel might have lost his fastball. We don't know. We really won't know until we see it on the field. But he has said, hey, I'm going to put the veteran and people in place here that I know can handle that side of the ball. And if you need my input, great, but also I'm not going to ignore it either.
Quick story here, though. So what you just said is almost verbatim what I said in 2014 when Mike got the job and was a defensive guru and hired Norv. And I'm like, this is great. He got a former head coach. He's not threatened to run the offense, and he's going to turn the keys to this guy. And this is fantastic. And after 14, of course, Mike went to his good friend Hugh Jackson, who has been a miserable failure most places as a head coach himself, and said, "Hey, Hugh, teach me offense because I don't think I like what Norv is doing," and it blew up. So we shall see. We shall see. I can't give KOC proper props until I see that. But yes, on the surface, this is good. I will go back to what I have been saying, though. I'm not surprised one bit that Kevin O'Connell is going to call plays. I want to see, though, how the games run, because calling plays for either side of the ball, as we definitely learned with Zim, is a lot. And when you have to manage replays and the clock and literally manage the game, like that's what you have to do. And you're also trying to call plays, which means you're planning for plays when your defense is out there. I'm just saying that's a lot on a person's plate. And the last time I checked, this is not a true statement of everyone, but the last time I checked, especially with myself, the ability of the male to multitask is not always great.
Right.
The ability of the male to multitask can fall short. Judd Zolgad, you asked Dawn, she can tell you right now. Judd can't multitask well. So I'm just saying too, like you're gonna find out. Hopefully KOC, master multitasker. But until then, we shall see. All right, we are done. Purple Daily, we actually recorded it last night with Phil. So we talked extensively about Kirk Cousins, what his reported and what we're hearing his contract demands are for a potential extension. And probably more importantly, what team has already come calling, because there is a team that's come calling about Kirk Cousins. Declan, I think that's it for us.
Yeah, that is it for us. Hey, by the way, check out University of St. Thomas basketball. They're back in action against North Dakota on Tuesday afternoon. Our guy Corbu Strauss does a great job calling games, man.
Corbu's great.
I worked with Corbu briefly with the St. Paul Saints with my buddy Sean Aronson. Corbu does a great job.
Very talented.
Helps call those St. Thomas basketball games right here on 1500 AM. So go Tommies. Support Tommy's basketball.
You don't mean that one bit. You're a St. Cloud State
go
guy.
Tommies.
You
go
are not a Go Tommies guy. Don't be a fraud.
Go Tommies. Don't listen to Judd.
Don't be a fraud.
Don't listen to Judd.
Listen to the games, but you're not sincere. Go Huskies is what you meant to say.
Mackey and Judd back at full strength on Tuesday. See ya.